Well, you've had these guys now, the drafted guys, for about 10 days, I guess, at this point. So what stands out with what you've seen so far of them?
They're all super competitive. They play hard. They care about the defensive end. And they also have a lot to learn, which is great. They're just getting their feet wet right now. So I'm excited about all of them. And it's going to be fun to grow with them and add them to the other guys and have it to where right now they're playing a very different role than they'll play in the regular season, right? And then we add the guys that we had from last year to these guys. It'll be easier for them to play, and we'll start growing together.
I know you talk about the competitiveness. That I've heard that's really what stands out about Jabari, and you saw it the other night where he's diving on the floor late in game, trying to steal a possession. How important is that for your best players to show that type of commitment, especially this early in their careers?
It's huge. I mean, when you're the number 3 pick, you could have a couple different ways of looking at it, right? You could be a prima donna type where you're not willing to get on the floor and you're trying to take all the shots and you're not necessarily trying to play defense. And he's not doing any of that. He's not hunting shots. He's not afraid to get dirty a little bit, and he definitely tries on the defensive end. So, his mindset is something that's really good for our group.
A lot of the group, the guys who are returning, have been in Houston for a good portion of the offseason. I guess you've been around them a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there anything that when camp starts, when the preseason starts, that people will be able to notice, just like an individual improvement that you've seen so far?
They'll all be a little bit stronger for sure. They've all been in the weight room working on their bodies. So hopefully you'll see a little bit more definition. You'll see a little bit more core strength. You'll see a little bit more pop when they're changing directions. And that was one of the main things that we really wanted to improve, as far as they all needed it to kind of take that next jump for this coming season. And then, they've all been working on their games. They've all been shooting a bunch of shots, a bunch of threes. They've all been working on their ball handling. John Lucas has done a great job with the group. So hopefully we'll be a little bit more skilled. Hopefully we'll cut down our turnovers a little bit as a result of all the work we've done this summer. And but I think the thing that you hopefully will see is we are a stronger, more physical group.
I asked you this last year, just kind of going back on last year. What did you think that you did well this past season? As individually, you yourself.
Yeah, it was. I think I had my eye on the prize most of the season, as far as the improvement of the group, and didn't get too caught up in the today and understanding that this was going to be a little bit of a process. So through the losing streaks and through the ups and downs and through the adversities, I did stay the course, and it wasn't easy for sure. But I think you saw by the end of the season the product that was on the floor was one that was a lot better than the beginning of the season, and I'm proud of that.
What about kind of on the other end, when you look back on it, what do you think you need to do better?
Yeah, so I think I could have done a better job of utilizing everybody on the roster, where Nawaba would play a long stretch, would be out for a long stretch of games, and finding opportunities to throw a guy in every 4, 5, 6 games just so they don't get stale. The opportunities are there, and I've been watching man, that would have been a good opportunity to get him in the game. So that leads to them being a little bit more engaged, but also them being a little bit more ready when they do have to play extended minutes.
Last year, very rarely were you able to play two guys at the same time taller than 6'6". Is that something that you look at now with Jabari on the floor? Is that something that you feel like you'll be able to do more, and that you feel like you really need to do more to have some more size out there?
For sure. I mean, if you're going to be a good defensive team, rebounding team, you have to have size. Jabari brings that. And then also having Alpi out there and whoever else, whether it's Eric or JT or whoever, our team fits together really well with Jabari's shooting. So to have that size and the shooting ability makes it good. And then having Alpi out there, especially with JT, doesn't allow the opposing team to play the 5 on JT, which was an issue for us.
Is that kind of the plan right now, to have Alpi and Jabari start together?
Yes.
We're going to hear a lot about improvement over the course of the season and wanting to be better than last year. What does improvement look like to you?
I've been thinking a lot about that. It's hard to say. You don't want to put like a number of wins on it or whatever, but improvement to me means we're not going to be 29th in the league in defense. Improvement to me means we're not going to be last in the league in turnovers. Improvement to me means that you'll see a product on the court that's more connected on both ends of the floor than you saw last year. You'll see guys being able to anticipate plays instead of waiting for the play to kind of evolve and then they react to it. So it can be nuanced at times, but as far as like actual things that we're going to be looking at, it's the turnovers offensively and the defense.
Do you have numbers in mind, whether it's a win total, whether it's an offensive rating, defensive rating, turnover rate that you'd like to be at?
Not right now. I did want to see these guys play and kind of get a feel for them before I have really look at our roster and get a feel for what we could do. But I'm not going to limit us to numbers and that kind of thing. But as we go through it, I'll have a better feel for where we should be as far as those are concerned. You're not going to go from 29th to top 10, but you can definitely improve a bunch with just a few possessions here and a few possessions there.
You guys extended Jayshawn Tate. You even said when he first arrived that you were a little skeptical. Rafael came to you about him. When did you know that he was a guy that you wanted to have in your program for a long time?
Early. I mean, he got into the starting lineup and it was impossible to take him out. And he was playing point guard for us. He was playing small forward. He was playing center. And he was always willing and able to plug any gap that we needed. And you always want somebody like that. And he plays with a maturity that most rookies, and he's an older rookie, so that maturity kind of shines through to where now he's one of the leaders of our group. He's one of our vets as a third-year player. So, his ability to kind of adapt to whatever else we have going on makes him very invaluable.
Stephen, I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.